Good morning, everybody. It is 10 a.m., Monday, July 27th, and this is your Virginia State weather briefing. My name is Katie Carter. I'm the emergency response meteorologist with the National Weather Service. Probably not surprising to you, severe weather is going to be the top story for the week ahead and really just the next few days, with tomorrow being the day of greatest concern. So we have a slight risk statewide tomorrow, and we'll break down those threats coming up in just a second here. But our weather pattern that we have over the next few days remains unsettled through about midweek until Wednesday. We'll see some isolated storms just kind of left over on Wednesday and then drying out for the end of the week. But if you've stepped outside already, you have felt that the humidity has returned, and so will that seasonable heat. Nothing extreme, but just kind of getting back to normal after a cooler and less humid period over the last few days. So, looking at first our excessive rainfall outlook today, it's really limited. We have a threat for a few isolated thunderstorms statewide, although, again, isolated is really the key with today's storms. Most of them are going to be in southeast Virginia this afternoon, though we could be seeing along and west of the I-81 corridor in the western and northwestern part of the state, a few storms out that way as well. Most of them are not going to be heavy rainmakers. There's a possibility that some of them could be a little bit on the stronger side, as we'll talk about here in just a second, but flooding is really low on the scale of threats today. Shifting the focus to tomorrow, again, almost statewide, it is a severe weather threat, but also pretty low on the scale for flooding potential tomorrow. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could be seeing some isolated instances of flash flooding with tomorrow's thunderstorms, but really the main threat is going to be the severe component of tomorrow's storms. Wednesday and beyond, things are looking pretty good. So once we really get past the hump of tomorrow, it's looking to be smooth sailing for the rest of the week. But getting back to the severe weather component today, we're under a marginal risk for a good part of the state, with the exception of that little bubble there around Lynchburg and Danville to just south of Charlottesville for the day today. This is just a marginal risk. It's a level 1 out of 5. So it is low on the scale too, meaning mainly isolated thunderstorms, with some of them could be on the stronger side. Tomorrow, it is a slight risk across the board statewide, and I would not be surprised if we did see an increase to possibly an enhanced threat, at least for part of the state tomorrow. It really is looking to be a pretty robust chance for severe storms, and we'll show the timing of that in a moment. But today's severe weather potential, roughly 2 p.m. to midnight, only isolated. This is not a big weather event. It's not a line of storms coming through that we can easily track. It's just that afternoon thunderstorm pop-up chance. Some of them could be a little bit strong in terms of winds, and some of them could be bringing some heavy downpours. But overall, widespread flooding, widespread severe weather damage, not in the cards today. And winds, really the only threat. We're not looking at hail. We're not looking at tornadoes. Although I will say we did have some severe storms roll through overnight, and we have some reports, especially in the Louisa area. Louisa saw 2-inch hail, which is considered significant hail. Anything over 1 inch is considered severe. So the fact that we got 2-inch hail in Virginia is pretty interesting. We don't see it every day, that's for sure. And when we do see severe hail, or significant hail, especially, it's usually in the late afternoon and early evening hours when we have the heating of the day really going for us. So the fact that we had it late last night, well after sunset, is pretty remarkable. Those storms were definitely strong last night, and but hail and tornadoes not expected with today's threats. Shifting to tomorrow, this is really the main focus of the week ahead. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., same time frame for severe storms. We could be seeing a few storms ahead of that 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. time frame, but they should not be severe. So we're looking at a few ahead of the cold front tomorrow, and then the main attraction coming in the later afternoon and evening hours with widespread thunderstorms. Now, this is going to be scattered to numerous thunderstorms, really everywhere across the state is going to see some sort of rain and thunderstorm combination. Now, our threats are numerous tomorrow. We're actually pretty confident that we're going to be not only seeing widespread thunderstorms, but that the intensity of them, we have moderate to high confidence that we are going to be seeing severe storms tomorrow. Wind gusts, hail, tornadoes, and flooding all going to be threats. This was actually today's storm threats, but looking ahead, I think I went backwards on accident. Here we go, going forward. So tomorrow's severe weather threats, damaging winds, number one. We have wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour that are the primary hazard. Everyone in red, which is a good part of the state there, under a 30 to 40%, 44% chance of seeing severe wind gusts, and that's any from 60 miles per hour up. Hail threat is a little less on the scale, but still up there, 15 to 29% chance of severe hail in the yellow shaded area, and the rest of the state, almost excluding Southeast Virginia in the brown, has a 5 to 14% chance. Now, severe hail, as I mentioned, is anything above 1 inch. So we could be seeing, greater than 1 inch hail also. Tornadoes, not the greatest threat, but also can't be ruled out. It's a 2 to 4% chance for tornadoes tomorrow. This is just a snapshot of how the day is going to progress tomorrow. Again, today is very isolated in nature, so it's really hard to pinpoint and kind of show you the radar estimated. But this is just a radar simulation of how tomorrow is going to play out. This is early afternoon, a few thunderstorms ahead of that cold front, but then the late afternoon from, I would say, 4 to about 8 p.m., it's really going to be kicking across the state. Widespread storm coverage, and some of them really quite strong. Heavy rainmakers too, but remember the flooding threat tomorrow is kind of lower on the threat scale. It's more marginal. Through the later evening hours, the storms do start to move off the coast, but still some lingering showers and thunderstorms. And the severe weather cutoff tomorrow is about 10 p.m. to midnight. So it's not an overnight continuation of our thunderstorms, but damaging winds, definitely the main threat, as we mentioned, and hail and tornadoes, all possible. I just keep going the wrong way with my presentation. I'm so sorry, guys. Continuing on with rainfall chances today, it's not really that great because they're just pop-up thunderstorms. So some of us could be seeing a quick, 1/10 of an inch, maybe up to a 1/4 of an inch, but it's going to be sparse, the rainfall that we do pick up statewide. And because of the kind of low end severe weather threat, not too much thunder, just really very isolated. Tomorrow, with the severe weather threat, it's also going to be more of a rainmaking situation. So statewide, at least a 1/10 of an inch, almost every single location. Some of us could be seeing up to 1, even 1.5 inches. And you'll notice there are a few locations along an I-95 that are a little bit higher. So that's where most of the rain is going to develop into the later afternoon and evening hours. But the right side of your screen, the table's really showing the probability of thunder is quite high through the afternoon and early evening hours. Rainfall amounts, just looking at snapshots through Wednesday. Again, most of that rain is along and east of I-95 through today and tomorrow. And then shifting the focus for the second part of the week is really later this week and into the weekend. We have some additional rain chances, but it's not too much in the grand scheme of things. Our humidity has crept back. I know you already felt it this morning when you stepped outside. Our heat index is going to be kind of where it should be this time of the year, upper 80s to low 90s. It cranks up tomorrow. Tomorrow being the hottest day of the week, we'll see upper 80s to near 90 for highs, but it's actually going to feel like mid 90s to upper 90s. And then we kind of cool down in the wake of that cold front Wednesday through Friday and get a bit of a break from humidity. But rain chances, as you see, do return Saturday and Sunday. So we'll have to keep an eye on how that plays out. Our outlook for our temperatures, 8 to 14 days. So this is the first week of August 3rd through the 9th. It looks like we're going to stay above average in the temperature department, which is, again, pretty normal for this time of the year to be hot or a little bit warmer than normal. And then near normal or maybe above average for our precipitation outlook. So I don't have an update from the U.S. Drought Monitor. Remember, that comes out on Thursdays. We did have minor improvements last week. However, the cutoff for information is Tuesday mornings. So all of the rain that we saw last week was not factored into the drought monitor. So we will see those updates with the U.S. Drought Monitor this Thursday that included all the rain that happened Tuesday, Wednesday, and through the weekend. So hopefully we are looking at a category increase or improvement, I should say, in the drought monitor. But remember, it's not just the amount of rainfall that goes into our drought. It is groundwater, how are the reservoirs doing? How are people's wells doing? How is the agriculture? So there are a lot of factors that we are looking at, but it's certainly been helpful that we have seen some decent amount of rainfall across most of the state. So pending any questions, that's all I have for you. I will have another update tomorrow because of the severe weather threat. So look out for that in your inbox, kind of depending on how things develop this afternoon with the severity of the potential. If they do increase to an enhanced, I will schedule another live for 10 a.m. tomorrow. But as it stands right now, just expect an email update in your inbox. But again, if there's an increase in severe weather potential tomorrow, we may be holding another live. But thanks for joining, everybody, and have a great week.